My name is Miriam. I was born on February 12th, 1930. I was born in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and the reason for that is my father had come from Russia to Boston thanks to an uncle who lived in Boston. He paid his way to be in this country. At the time of my visit, this uncle, Uncle Sam of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, offered my father a job. And of course, my father took the offer. My father met my mother at a dance, and I was conceived at that time. So, therefore, with my father working, and they're living in a small apartment in Rhode Island, and with my introduction to the family, I grew. And not only grew, but I flourished. And it was because of the wonderful thanks that my mother gave to my father's family. I was conceived and born and raised in Woonsocket. I did not have any nicknames to my knowledge. I've always been Miriam. Or, as a matter of fact, I have been called Mimi for my grandsons, which came at a much later date. And till this day, they started with, as babies, with calling me Mimi until the present time. Still Mimi. My parents are Sadie Golden and Louis Golden. And my family consisted of a son called Martin, a daughter called Linda, and later on a son called Jeffrey. I do recall playing marbles. That time it was the in thing, with my brother Melvin, and we would lay on the rug of the front hallway floor. That rug became our playground, and we had lots of fun with the game. We would come in the front door, and we would get down on our hands and knees and start playing the game of marbles. I grew up, well, the first years of my life were in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And then my mother and father moved to Boston and lived near, or practically next to, my grandmother and grandfather. And that was Roxbury, Massachusetts. So I've been a New Englander for quite a while. My earliest childhood memory would be my remembering, since we lived up on a hill, my running down the hill to go into my grandmother's house. And at that time, there was nothing that was too good for me. So either I ate, or drank, or slept, or played, whatever, in Grandma's house. And that I remember, till I grew to a point where I outgrew all the little games that I played. I played cards, various games with the deck of cards. Also, I played with dolls a doll carriage, and also would ride a bicycle and visit some of the neighbors on our street. We lived in a big house. It had 3 floors. The 3rd floor was an available apartment, which was eventually rented. The 2nd floor was 4 bedrooms, so that each child had their own bedroom. And the 1st floor was the living quarters, the dining room, the kitchen, living room, and so forth. The only items that were in our house were very, very available to my mother. These were things she had saved for many years and continued saving: dishware, glassware, silverware, for many years, until a point in time where I started taking over. Now that I look back on it, I can tell you that my mother was a very intelligent woman, a smart lady who taught me an awful lot, and who, through her own efforts, I intended to join various organizations and I took part in various activities that my father would enjoy, such as going to the temple, which was like a 5-minute walk from our house. And also, since we lived on the top of the hill, I remember during the winter time, and there was a lot of snow on the ground, my father would go up the hill to our home, which was at the top of the hill, and he would either have to get out and shovel the snow or go up the hill at least 5 miles per hour. So it was quite an effort for him to come home from work just to go up the hill to his home and relax and rest. Yes, I had many family chores, only because at that time my mother was busy raising 2 children, me and my brother. My brother's name was Melvin, and at that point in time when Melvin got a little older, we would continue with the playing games with marbles on the hall floor, and we loved it. We were always competing with each other. However, Melvin loved to read. He was an excellent student. He was smart, smarter than myself, but we got along beautifully. I got an allowance. It wasn't very much money. It was maybe a quarter, maybe 50 cents tops. If I did the dishes, or if I did something to help my mother with her cooking, with cleaning cabinets, pots and pans, etc. And I didn't mind at all. And if I did mind, it was with very little attention. Actually, when we moved to this house up on the hill, we did face a school. So I went 3 years to that school, which was across the street from the house. Did very well. My teachers loved me because my mother would invite them for lunch. It was such a different situation from today, and I just loved eating lunch with my teachers, and I know that they enjoyed it too. And of course, by this time we got used to running up and down the stairs to go in the house, or to go upstairs to the bedrooms, and it was just second nature for me. I did not have any particular favorite subjects in the school because there was so much that I could choose from that I couldn't make a decision on which I liked. So I just tried to do my best with each subject. We always had a dog. If anything happened to the dog, we would replace the animal with another one. But I got so used to having a dog in the house and knowing that around 5 p.m. every day, I would have to walk him so that he could get his exercise and that I could enjoy the fun that he gave to me. Skippy was his name, and I loved Skippy. And the time came when he was getting older, a little bit sicker. So, of course, I had to hold back on some of my activities with Skippy. But that didn't mean anything because I still loved that animal. I was born with very straight hair, a light color. Couldn't do much with it, so I left it alone, and it was very simple the way I wore it. And I guess I would go outside with Skippy and walk around the neighborhood just to make sure he got his exercise at that time. What did I want to be when I grew up? And I'll be very honest with you, I did not know. I figured whatever I was, as long as I could do it, handle it, and do the homework for it, I was satisfied. But I had no particular occupation in mind, although I did on an occasion find myself thinking about a nursing career, which I did not go into. I had many favorite songs which I hear every now and then at this time of my life, and I sing right along with it. However, there were many songs that I do not recall, but I know I loved them. So I decided I was just going to do the best I could, and that was it. We always ate together as a family. We waited for my father to come home from work. He was tired, working all day, and he was hungry. So my mother managed to have the supper ready for us to eat because we all ate together, and that worked out beautifully. I guess that was part of the day that I loved. My mother did all the cooking. Favorite foods. I loved mashed potatoes. I loved roast beef, lamb chops, salad, and fruit. Those were my favorite foods. The holidays were wonderful. It was a 5-minute walk to the synagogue, the local synagogue, so I would get involved with the services, and I enjoyed them very much. My oldest relatives were my grandmother and grandfather. I remember all the love that they showed me. They were so happy to have their oldest grandchild living a 3-minute walk up the hill from their home. So that part was wonderful. If I was upset with my mother, we disagreed on something, would go right down to my grandmother's and stay there. Otherwise, we managed to get along beautifully and made sure that saw the mailboxes every day to see that she wasn't losing or missing any mail. The most valuable thing was what I learned from my mother and father regarding my religion. Many different things that we did was because of the Sabbath or the high holy days, things of that nature. I would help my mother to serve the table with cups and saucers for coffee or tea, and always for dessert. To me, that was an important part of the meal. How was the world different when I was a child? I wouldn't even know where to start. I would remember going to services every Saturday with either my mother or my father. I would remember holidays like Passover, where we would change dishes and eat other pieces. I would remember.
Did you fall asleep?
I'm thinking.
Oh.
I think we should take a break.
I want to make sure you all have a wonderful Mother's Day, especially Dasa and Sharon. And Kayla, when she's a little bit older, I'll include Kayla too. So have a nice dinner and enjoy. And remember, it's Mother's Day. So someday we'll all be mothers. Okay? Enjoy.